Hello, and welcome to Taccion Triage. I'm Brandy, and I am back from my 2 week sabbatical. And let me tell you what, boy, oh boy, are the energies picking up. I do want to talk to you a little bit about this full moon coming up, and there's a necessity to do a reading for this full moon because if you don't, then it leaves out sort of this necessary understanding for this reborn and rebirth energy. So let us get started. I worked on this as I drove back for 8 hours. I was riding in the passenger seat, of course, but I worked on this. So we'll see how it flows and we shall move forward. So, a lot of you have watched the July 2026, the spiritual prescription reset you did not know you needed. If you have not watched it, I will link it in the description box below. I talked a little bit about realizing that submission was an act of courage. Building upon this further, sort of the transition between July and August was the heartbeat and reborn. August is already up, but again, like I said, this is sort of the meat between these two energies, and thus a necessity. Ace of Wands on the bottom here, and the Emperor. So, some of you may have experienced sort of this exhaustion, this feeling tired, this necessity to move away to find rest and peace. And some of you may have really leaned into that resting period, okay? Things were not happening as you kind of anticipated them to occur, were they? They wasn't. And some things come to the forefront where you kind of knew some things were going on, but you didn't have the clarity that you needed. And now it's becoming very illuminated. So this transition energy here for me, and remember, I'm teaching from a place that I know, which is Leo rising. And that might not resonate with all of you, but if it does, I'm assuming that's why you're here. So there is this energy where you are really looking at this illusion of the mirrored future. Okay. I'm going to try to do the best I can to break this down for you. And then it sort of moves into the energy. And this is the in between, what I'm picking up energetically, to the illusion of the dissolved self. And I experienced something that will put this parameter into an understanding that you might be able to apply. And again, remember, we're coming from that divine reset, okay, in July, to this reborn and reintegrated energy of August, the heartbeat and reborn. So, July was the month, okay, and it is the month because we're still currently in that energy where you found peace, whatever way that was for you. You found peace and release and rest, whatever, spiritual prayer, whatever that is, insert here for yourself. Vacation, I don't know. And the sacred dark of July was rebirthing you. It was setting you up for this rebirthing process for August. And now with this full moon coming into the energy, it's dissolving the identity of one, okay? The one role. And we talked about that because you need to be more of an integrated signal. And so this is the con when you attach yourself to one role, okay? So just remember that. But dissolved identity of one role claimed victory, okay, in the signal, okay, as a reintegrated whole. And reborn, we arise. So some of you have really been illuminated to where you've been seeing this illusionary mirror energy, okay? And that's why some of you feel like you don't belong. So maybe you're looking at a situation like, I don't belong in this partnership. I don't belong in this job. I don't belong in this role. I don't belong in this. That's more of that integration of attaching to the role of one, which is the con. Okay, because the role changes. And you can learn about that in the description box below. And I talked a lot about that in the Reborn August 2026 video. I think that some of you may have, because I'm guilty of this as well, you may have fell into that Neptunian trap of illusion of the mirrored self, right? Seeing what truly you want to, or the true you in someone, and it wasn't real, right? Or the Neptune illusion of, or Neptune trap of giving all of yourself to the point of nothing left, okay? Giving your life force energy away. But your approach to life is transformed as we speak for whatever reason, whatever's been illuminated to you, whatever you have realized, whatever you have come to an understanding with. And, your understanding is elaborate in that you understand that you have the right to exist in whatever way that is, and not to be told who you are, what role to be placed in, or how that needs to be expressed, any of that, okay? And I feel like a lot of you have faced a difficult situation. Insert here for you what that might be, but a difficult situation has been happening for you, okay? And it's because you needed to be challenged. Now, don't come for me, okay? Listen to my story before you come for me, because it really is, there is a bigger perspective here. But I feel like there needed to be a challenge with an opponent that sort of didn't back down. Now, we all know that seeing enemy or nemesis is the actual true illusion, right? But when you're coming into this energy, sort of hearing it this way and then breaking it down, it's more understandable. So there's a difficult situation, or a difficult situation is being put forward, maybe something you went through or something you're currently going through. For a lot of you, it's something you're currently going through, okay? And it's because you need challenged with something, an opponent that will not back down, okay? And it is truly the spiritual prescription you didn't know you needed, right? So it's kind of building on July 2026, moving in and transitioning to August 2026. And to understand that sometimes surrender, like I said, is the strongest act of courage. And your spirit needs to be reborn. And it can only be done this way, done in a way where it's put you in a situation where you really have to see something and you're really feeling challenged, okay? And it won't back down. And in this energy, as you transcend it, the heart beats again and you are reborn. So let me tell you a little bit about my experience. I had a difficult fraternal twin pregnancy. Many of you know that if you've been with me for a while. And as a Leo rising, my entire approach to life, it has always been about like outward, right? I relied on self-control, strong sense of identity to navigate this life. I always had to have my shit together when no one else did, okay? And I hid behind this mask of courage all the time for years and years and years. When I was preparing to give birth to my fraternal twins, that careful, constructed identity shattered. It just dissolved. It was incinerated, let's say that. I shifted from a clear sense of self. An example would be like mother, identity versus role confusion. Into identity versus role confusion. So mother to getting them here alive. It was then I met the dark transformative energy of Pluto. And boy, did I become acquainted. My soul's purpose became a desperate mission to bring these two babies into the world alive, even if it cost me my own life. The universe set up a mirror, and it was directly opposite of my identity. Now, the seventh house can be partnerships, relationships, but it can be the house of the ultimate opponent, right? Adversarial. And carrying fraternal twins was interesting because it was a physical manifestation of what that transit was teaching me as well. So I was sick in this pregnancy, and I was facing death. And it also taught me, though, that the future is dual by design, hence twins dual plus what happened to me, in this process. And when I thought death was inevitable, I survived. The twins were not identical copies. They were two distinct, different genetic souls sharing a womb. They were a living blueprint of cosmic duality. Yet, as duality grew inside of me, my body was shutting down. My natural biological systems were degrading. And rapidly, I might add. Because I almost died multiple times, I genuinely accepted that I wouldn't be here when they were born. And I did not prepare for an after. I didn't. Because the goal became just getting them here. I was very alone in all of that. And I realized that when the external support falls away, that you have to support yourself. In that energy, I discovered an untouchable self-respect. I learned you try harder when you're scared or terrified. I was literally being baptized under fire. Death is an opponent that doesn't back down. But when your body is failing and the monitors are dinging, screaming, you realize you can't fight the wave that is coming to swallow you. And in that moment, you have to believe in yourself when everyone else doesn't. And in that moment, in those moments, I found a paradoxical truth. Fear didn't make me shrink. It forced me to dig deep into the well of self-respect that I never knew I possessed. It also taught me that the future is dual by design. I surrendered not of defeat, but I surrendered in courage, ultimate courage. I stopped fighting the transition and I faced death head on. And in that moment, the doors, I don't even know what else to term this, but the doors of maternal transcendence, that's sort of what I called it, swung wide open. The awakening of Pluto completely rewired my understanding of reality. The mirror showed me the universal future is dual by design, and that it holds different truths at the same time, actually. Before that, I believed in enemy or nemesis. But now I see that the true enemy or nemesis is believing that one even existed to begin with. Light and dark, life and death is not warring factions. They're two sides of the same existence. And Pluto showed me that degeneration is necessary. It is the necessary cure to evolution, just as evolution is the cure to degradation. They coexist in mutual trust within the cosmic womb. the void where all things are one. And my twins coexisted before entering into this physical world. Though the door of maternal transcendence swung open, or through this door, let's say through the door of maternal transcendence, I integrated my own light and dark. I looked death in the eye. Instead of degenerating, I regenerated and was reborn. And what was reborn was the phoenix. And for me, it was sort of like the phoenix guardian. Facing death causes you to fiercely protect life. And the phoenix guardian, in that moment, brought the energy towards me to stop living backwards, or stop holding on to a past as if it was the best that it was ever going to be. It inspired me. And I was also inspired by my twins and the beautiful, diverse future that they were going to have. I seen the years ahead as beautiful. But purposefully different, we'll say. I found true life in the act of surrender, and the shadow and light within my own soul found peace for the first time. Now, don't get this twisted. My twins, they don't represent good or evil or anything like that. They represent non-identical alliances. They showed me that two different souls can coexist in the same sacred space without competing for survival. Something that my shadow side and light side needed to know and see. Pluto showed me degeneration is the necessary cure to evolution. They're not enemies or nemesis. They're the system of the natural order. This is not failure. It's the allowance of the birth of the new. Just like my body was failing, it was necessary in order for the boys to be born. And while I seen that as the ultimate ending, didn't play out that way, right? Because there was another way. The future is dual by design. But most of all, it showed me that there could be another way. When I survived, I realized that the antidote to death was life. And when the fear of death dissolves, wow, there's like a level of presence in life that you didn't have before when you don't fear dying anymore. It's unwavering. And the fire that once burned me from the outside became internalized. And that's literally when the Phoenix guardian emerged from within me. When you go through an identity crushing situation, ending even, remember the core DNA of your power remains untouched and unchanged. So that's sort of what I wanted to share with you. Now, some of the prescription that you can use in this transition or remedy for this full moon is look at what your illusionary opponent is, right? Is there this womb of existence where your light and dark can be at peace? Okay. And if you're feeling the energy of death in your life, it's there for degeneration so that there can be regeneration, right? So that there can be a breakthrough in it, in an energy for a newness or a new state of being, much like when I had the twins. Mine was maternal transcendence. That was the door that opened this for me. And it took me from a fear to presence, right? The antidote was life. So look at what it is that's the door that's swinging open for you. And again, the phoenix emerged for me, right? It's the destructive yet regenerative energy, power, raw power. And understand that when things degenerate, it's the natural order of things, right? Something has to break down in order for something to be in existence. You know, look at your life and see where you may be living backwards. Okay. And remember that your future is not a threat. Life is not a threat. Okay. It's about a newness and a new terrain, right? And it's requiring a different version of you. Okay. One where both aspects, your light and dark, is integrated and there's inner peace. Two truths at the same time are coexisting without fighting each other. And just remember that sometimes death is necessary for rebirth, right? Especially like my body was breaking down in that process. And I really felt like there was no other way, like that I was not going to make it. Again, I did not prepare for the after. My identity versus role confusion became from the mother to I have to get my kids here alive, even if it means that I'm not. And so that's a little bit of what I experienced with my rebirth, and a little bit about when it started to move into the dark night of the soul. Many of you have wanted me to talk about this, but I feel like this is the better way to do this. So let's throw a card for those of you here that may need some advice for this full moon in Aquarius. Okay. Interesting. So I got the moon in reverse here with the King of Cups in reverse. All right. So if you have believed something, like I believed I was going to die in that situation, that was bad advice for myself to believe. You know, I shouldn't have thought that, but I didn't see another existing way until it actually happened. Like I was pushed by that non-movable adversarial energy of death, right? And it helped me be able to I feel like I forgot to say something here because I just heard the saying, death brought me here and death freed me. Okay. Anyways, there's going to be some beneficial changes for you with the moon in reverse. So just be aware of that. I feel like your thinking will become more clear. Okay. Or there could be some clarification with the matter. You know, I feel like if you've been running from something or there's been some sort of like escapism, that you will be forced to face a situation that, and it's not to punish you, it's to help you be able to see something clearly, to release a fear, to release something here, because something is really preventing you from living fully, right? And I feel like that is a part of this reborn energy that we're coming into in August. Maybe many of you have been facing like some health situations, because in this scenario that I talked about where we connected, I talked about the difficulty of pregnancy and where I thought I was going to die and not make it and stuff like that. And I ended up making it. So there could be some health concerns and you actually get a positive outcome with that. Okay. Some of you are getting a warning. I am not going to lie. I do feel a little bit of karma here, you know. But I don't want to interpret these cards here, especially the King of Cups in reverse, as like immaturity or anything like that. I just don't think there's wisdom here. It's like you gain wisdom by going through a difficult time that brings illumination to you, right? If you can't expect a child to understand something that is super outside of the box, right? If their brain isn't there. Now, some kids are geniuses, and I'm just kind of giving you an idea here. We don't want to sort of say that someone is not their self here, or not, if they don't have the information to navigate the situation, right? I learned something in that experience that only that experience could teach me. And until then, that wasn't in my reality. It wasn't in my perspective, right? But some of you guys could get some bad advice here from someone else. I'm going to throw that out a little bit. There could be some loss or a feeling of sort of betrayal or something like that. Or maybe some anger because, something wasn't going to go the way that you wanted it. I felt anger when I thought I wasn't going to make it when my kids, when I was trying to get my kids here, you know what I mean? But I went through like the stages of grief, and I was able to sort of overcome that transcendence through that maternal transcendence. So maybe you're really dealing with a situation here that's making you sort of deal with something head on, like what I had experienced. And you're finding a life again in this, and you're finding sort of respect, self-respect. And I feel like this moon in reverse is also representing you being reborn and rebirth, okay, and sort of coming out of this womb. And you're coming out of this womb with sort of respect, a respect for what it is that's truly important to you, okay, as you proceed forward. All right, let's get a card and we'll read that for you, and I will let you go. So then we've got the King of Cups in the upright, right? So the energy just came full circle with the Six of Wands. So you're getting some sort of a victory after some sort of immense, difficult situation. And that's what happened with me. You know what I mean? Like I experienced a difficult situation, and I gained profound wisdom and this presence of life. And I feel like your heart is going to be fully on tap, right? Like it's wide open. And again, I said the heartbeat of life, the heartbeat of you, reborn. Let me get a couple of these cards, then we'll read that and I'll let you go. The answer is yes. If you have a question here, all right, luck is on your side. Open up your heart. I'm telling you can't make this shit up. Open up your heart. It will help attract more love to you. And I feel like that is what you're able to do. Some of you guys might be dealing with a fire sign here, Aries, Leo, Sag, or you're just embodying that fire. Also, somebody here who's watching this is going to have some sort of like health issues that come to the forefront, and it allows you to be able to sort of get some sort of clarity there. And of course, I've got letting go. So submission, release, again, right on point with the energy. All right. 1 minute, please. Sorry for doing this reading, but it's sort of the transition between July and August. And it's necessary in order for you to have the full momentum of the energy or full understanding. So it had to be put out precisely at the right time. Okay, can you see that? All right. A king is in ornate robes, sits upon a rocky throne under the starry night sky. He wears a great golden fish upon his breast. His right hand lifts a silver chalice, and his left hand holds a scepter topped with a bronze water lily. His gaze is steady and perspective. He seems to look into your heart, and perhaps your soul too. Everything about him speaks of a love of beauty and attention to symbolism. This is a wise and compassionate teacher. By avocation, if not vocation. The fish necklace symbolizes the Piscean quality of sacrifice to the spiritual calling. The water lily scepter shows his authority in his authority is tempered by peace, excuse me. The night and the dark sea are in keeping with the outer self he presents to the world, the vastness of the cosmos and the fathomless depths of wisdom. And that talks about the wisdom that you've gained, right? Definitely can relate to that. Let me pull a couple of charms and then I will let you go. Don't forget to check the description box below and I will link those other readings down there for you. I have a heart with a nurseless cap. So healing of the heart, some of you guys could be going into medical field here. I've got a parrot. Okay, some of you might be seeing a lot of parroting or a lot of people saying the same things, doing the same things here, and you are doing something a different way. Just know that. I have the star here, so really healing something and finding some sort of like understanding that allows you to view the future differently here. I've got a rhinoceros, and then I've got dolphins. Okay, very intelligent. And there's something with sound waves. So maybe you're working on release, sound bowls, energy healing, things like that. And then I've got a helm. So remember, you're always in control of the helm here. And also got a dragon. Been getting a lot of dragons lately, but we have a dragon here. So maybe you're the year of the dragon, or you are embodying that fire. Okay, that powerful fire. I love you guys, and I hope that this brings value to you and helps you. I love you guys, and me opening up about my experiences, I'm hoping really helps someone to understand these energies a little better. So it's me letting down my mask of strength to let you see that we're all human and we all are living this experience, and hopefully it helps somebody in the process. But until next time, stay in your tachyon mind. I love you guys. Peace.